General Meston, my comments on buffer zone you must have heard. The first thing I would like to know from you is, because there are two things happening. One is Biren Singh taking a political line. He has taken a position on certain issues. Another is the army mapping out area and trying to create a buffer zone. Can you shed more light if there's a buffer zone between the Kukis and the Methi dominated areas? Aren't you creating a sort of a two different administrative units within a state if you create a buffer like that?
Kartikeya, good morning.
Morning.
Firstly, I have actually not understood what is the concept being thought of this buffer zone. Because buffer zones, like today we are talking about a buffer zone or some areas between India and China on these areas of differences. Now here we are all one nationality, we are all Indians, we are all Manipuris, and therefore I have not understood what is the concept and the thought behind this buffer zone. Probably is it to segregate the two communities and make them feel secure? I think that is not a wise idea at all. Rather, it could have been reversed. The solution, another point I could add on is, I just heard that the delegations, MLAs, etc., wanted to meet the Prime Minister. I assume if the meeting would have been granted by the Prime Minister, and if this problem would have been projected to him, the Prime Minister first and foremost would have only told one thing. You are the elected MLAs, you have a proper body, it is your state, you run it and enforce peace and bring peace. Prime Minister can only support in terms of giving moral support, other kinds of support. We have already been inducted a lot of security forces. But Prime Minister of India cannot today go and start running a particular state. States are run by the elected people, by the elected representatives who have to run a state. And exactly this is what the Prime Minister would have stated. So that is why perhaps he may, or I am not aware why he has not met this. But what I'm trying to say is, what is the solution? Every day everyone is talking about, like even I heard the Chief Minister stating, yes, he has stated some things, but I think even the tone and tenor was very firm for a particular ethnicity, and for the other it was literally sort of a different tone and tenor. So when the thought process of these so-called elected leaders is targeting each other's ethnicity, I think there is no solution. Let the people of Manipur come up with solution. All these states, wherever such kinds of problems happen, the solution has to be homegrown, not externally, being aided by the neighboring states like Mizoram or Nagaland or Assam. It has to be homegrown. It's a Manipuri problem. So firstly, the people of Manipur, and by these elected representatives, they must today start having peace marches. If I was there, I would have done, this is the foremost thing. Why should you segregate people into buffer zones? We should have peace marches, get people from both the ethnicities, women, children, elderly people, make them walk together. No militant group will fire on them. That is point one. Point two is, when we are talking about militant groups, it is not that one ethnicity as a militant group. My first posting in the Indian Army in 1982 happened from the same very area. And let me state very candidly, I met the people over there from both ethnicities, and frankly, I could not even identify who's from which ethnicity, because in the army we even don't talk on the ethnic lines. For us, they were all Indians, they were all Manipuris. The people coexisted there. They have been coexisting since ages. So why this sudden unrest has happened? Obviously, it is some kind of interest of some individuals who want to provoke this violence deliberately, incite violence, and the common people from both the ethnicities, unfortunately, they get carried away. And who's suffering in the end? These common people are suffering. So let the common people come up with these solutions. We have to look for solutions. As an army general, today for my problems, I cannot go to the army chief, sir, you handle it. No, I've been paid for that. I've been made a divisional commander or whatever commander. I have to run my own place of work. I have to have good teamwork. And teamwork means we don't, have people stating that he's from particular community or religion or ethnicity. No, everyone is a Manipuri, and therefore use all the Manipuri. And let me tell you today, if I was to be there, my first action would have been speak to the women, speak to the children. Today we are closing schools. Get all these. Why should schools be closed? Get all these children together. Take them march together, and peace marches. Call them. Have banners. We are Manipuris. We are not Metis. We are not Kukis. We are Manipuris. We belong to Manipur. This is our homeland. These kind of banners will make such a difference. No one is talking about solutions. Everyone is talking it's a historical issue. My first question is if it was historical or geographical or whatever it is culturally, then how these people have been coexisting for ages together. I have myself seen them, and not that I only went in 82, I was there for 1 year. After that, number of times I've been visiting the state. We have been to both the valley and the hill area. People are so nice, whether it is a Methi or whether it is a Kuki. So some people are dividing them, and is division the answer for this state? No, it is going to be exploited by China, by ISI, and it does not suit the interest of India. So firstly, let us not only talk about ethnic militant. All ethnicities, let me be very candid, have got militant organizations. You want to name, I can name them. Let us disarm them. First, let's get them on peace talks. Let us disarm them, demobilize them, and reintegrate them into the mainstream of Manipur, irrespective of their ethnicities.
Okay. I think that's a good point. Is it possible to disarm all these militant organizations today?
First of all, like the Honorable Home Minister said, that ground rule will be adhered to, ground rule, and when things happen, it has to happen simultaneously. It cannot be one way. So here we are not, Meiteis are not fighting the Kukis. The Meiteis are fighting the Kuki militants. And every immigrant is not a Kuki. There are Kukis who are Manipuris. There are many people from coming across the border. They are different. So the appeal is about that. So when you disarm, you have to disarm both sides. The first thing you have to disarm everybody, both sides, from the hills and from the valley. The problem is where you said that buffer zone, buffer zone where two communities are living very closely with each other. This is a buffer zone, to my understanding, is to create some sort of a temporary peace kind of thing. ताकि वहाँ लड़ाई झगड़ा ना हो. So you have to disarm everybody. So then only you can talk about all other things. And about the peace, like I said, that the neutral groups, like for example the Manipuri Nagas, the Manipuri Meitei Muslims, the CSOs have to play a major role. But you have to put out the fire first. And there must be accountability. Like the General Saab says, it's my duty. Yes, it's his duty. He's being paid for that. So whoever, I mean, everybody, the government and every officer who's there on the field is accountable for, should be accountable for everything. And that happens in Manipur.